Welcome to The Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that isn't just relevant, but absolutely critical for anyone navigating the modern world. The rapidly evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and the urgent ethical and legal challenges it presents. You might think of AI as just, a tool, but its deep integration into everything from the devices in your pocket to the critical systems making decisions about your life. Well, it means we need to talk about its profound impact, and we need to do it now. We're talking about a world where AI is everywhere. Think about personalized AI co-pilot PCs, which are essentially powerful computers with integrated AI chips designed to streamline your workflow right on your desktop, enhancing everything from creative tasks to data analysis. Or consider on-device AI models that run locally without needing to connect to the cloud. These offer unprecedented speed, efficiency, and significant privacy benefits because your data never actually leaves your device. The potential benefits are truly transformative. But with this incredible speed of advancement, there's also an urgent wake-up call about how we ensure this technology serves us well, ethically and legally.
Precisely. AI Ethics 2025 isn't just some catchy phrase. It's a global discussion now at the absolute center of technology's future. The stakes are incredibly high, and what's fascinating here, I think, is how quickly theoretical questions about things like copyright ownership for AI-generated content or, effective deepfake prevention have morphed into pressing real-world problems demanding immediate concrete solutions. Governments, corporations, research bodies, they're all in a race to create robust safeguards. And understanding these risks is critical for all of us, whether you're an AI professional, an executive making strategic decisions, or simply an individual engaging with these systems daily.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our mission today is to equip you with a comprehensive understanding of these urgent issues. We're going to intensely focus on the legal risks surrounding AI-generated content and the insidious problem of algorithmic bias that permeates so many systems. We'll look at how AI doesn't just replicate, but often amplifies existing human biases, exploring the concrete and often life-altering impacts in areas like hiring and healthcare. Then, we'll dive into the frameworks and strategies being developed to keep innovation responsible and ethical. As we begin to map out this complex landscape, what immediately strikes you about the scale of this challenge?
What immediately jumps out, I think, is the sheer breadth and speed of AI's integration. It simultaneously presents both immense promise and profound challenges. It's a dual nature that we as a society must understand and actively manage.
Let's start right there with the incredible pace of AI development. We're not talking about distant science fiction anymore. We're witnessing real-world applications being deployed right now, impacting daily life in ways many of us are only just beginning to grasp.
What's truly fascinating here is how deeply integrated AI has become. It's moved beyond abstract concepts to tangible, everyday tools. As you mentioned, we're seeing the rapid rise of personalized AI co-pilot PCs designed not just to speed up workflows, but to genuinely automate repetitive tasks and act as intelligent assistants right on your desktop. Then there's the increasing prevalence of on-device AI models that operate without needing to connect to cloud servers. This local processing offers, well, unprecedented speed as tasks can be handled instantly without latency, and significant privacy benefits as your sensitive data never leaves your device. This isn't just about big data centers running complex computations anymore. It's about AI becoming an intimate and integral part of our personal computing experience, making it more accessible and pervasive than ever before. For example, some of these new AI co-pilot PCs are even shipping with integrated deepfake detection capabilities, leveraging initiatives like Microsoft's content credentials to embed metadata. This metadata shows when and how an image or video was generated, essentially creating a built-in authenticity verification system right at the source.
So on one hand, we're seeing incredible gains in efficiency, hyper-personalization, and automation that can truly transform industries and individual productivity. But on the other, this rapid integration brings with it a whole new set of pressing legal and ethical challenges, as one of our sources succinctly puts it. It's truly a double-edged sword, isn't it?
It really is.
What's the biggest threat you see emerging from this dual nature?
The most immediate threat, I'd say, is how quickly previously theoretical questions, like copyright for AI-generated works or effective deepfake prevention, are becoming pressing real-world problems. The extraordinary benefits of AI are juxtaposed against critical questions that are no longer speculative. This includes the fundamental issue of copyright ownership for AI-generated works, which challenges our traditional understanding of creation and intellectual property. Then there's the urgent need for robust deepfake prevention mechanisms to combat the rapid spread of misinformation and protect individuals from malicious content. And finally, the incredibly complex task of developing cohesive international AI regulations that can keep pace with technological advancement without inadvertently stifling it. Our sources make it clear that governments, corporations, and research bodies are racing to create safeguards that protect innovation while minimizing harm. This isn't just a national endeavor, but a global one, reflecting the borderless nature of AI.
This is where it gets particularly crucial. It's not just about what AI can do with all its amazing capabilities, but what it should do, and how we ensure it's operating fairly, legally, and ethically. For anyone interacting with AI, which, let's be honest, is basically everyone these days, understanding these risks isn't just good to know, it's absolutely crucial for navigating the opportunities and challenges of the future. The pace of change means that what was a futuristic concern yesterday is, well, a present-day reality today.
This raises an important question. How do we effectively balance the immense transformative power of AI with the imperative to manage its inherent risks responsibly and ethically? This delicate balancing act is the core of AI Ethics 2025. It's about establishing the ethical groundwork and legal frameworks today that will shape how AI serves society tomorrow, ensuring trust, fostering meaningful human-AI collaboration, and maintaining robust governance in a rapidly evolving technological landscape.
Okay, let's get down to basics. We all hear about AI bias, but what's often misunderstood is how pervasive it is, creeping into systems at multiple stages. Can you walk us through what AI bias fundamentally is and why it's such a significant concern?
Sure. AI bias, at its core, refers to situations where an AI system produces systematically prejudiced or unfair outcomes due to inherent flaws. These flaws often originate from the data used for training the AI, the specific design of the algorithm itself, or even the objectives it's programmed to achieve. It's not simply a technical glitch in the traditional sense, but often a direct reflection or amplification of existing societal inequalities and human biases that have been unknowingly, or sometimes even knowingly, embedded into the system. Think of it this way. Technology has always had the potential for bias. One of our sources uses the analogy of an ergonomic mouse designed for right-handed people.
All right.
Who's that biased against? Left-handed people. While that's a simple hardware example, AI bias is far more complex, involving the invisible workings of software and algorithms, making it much harder to spot and address.
That analogy helps make it really clear. But isn't human bias still deeply ingrained and perhaps harder to shift? What makes AI's version uniquely dangerous despite our existing human challenges?
That's a crucial distinction. The significance of AI bias lies squarely in the technology's unparalleled scale and speed. Human biases can certainly be challenged, debated, and corrected over time through dialogue, education, and oversight mechanisms. We can identify a biased decision made by a person and, address it. But AI systems can process vast, almost unimaginable amounts of data and execute thousands, if not millions, of decisions in mere seconds.
Wow.
This means that if bias is present, its outcomes can quickly and crucially, invisibly affect extraordinarily large populations across multiple sectors before anyone even realizes what's happening. As Holistic AI points out, AI bias is often harder to detect, but can have far-reaching consequences, affecting key business operations and public trust.
So it just spreads so much faster?
Exactly. It's not just one person making a biased decision. It's an automated system replicating that bias at a speed and volume that can create widespread systemic discrimination. This makes it both more dangerous and infinitely harder to control or reverse once it's deployed.
So it sounds like AI bias isn't just a theoretical concern, it's a critical business risk. How profound are these implications, really?
Absolutely. The implications are profound. They range from significant legal liabilities under new regulations like the EU AI Act to severe reputational damage and even significant financial and operational risks. Basically, AI's effectiveness is undermined by flawed or unfair outputs. We're talking about direct impact on a company's bottom line and its relationship with its customers.
Okay, so understanding where bias enters the AI pipeline is crucial for effective mitigation. It's not just a single point of failure, is it? Sounds like it can occur at multiple stages.
That's right. It's a multi-stage problem. And identifying these points of entry, as highlighted by Chapman University, is the first step toward prevention. Bias can creep in at various stages. First, there's data collection. This is often where it originates.
Right, the input.
Exactly. If the data used to train an AI algorithm isn't diverse or representative of the real-world population it's meant to serve, the resulting outputs will inevitably reflect these biases. Imagine, for instance, creating a facial recognition model, primarily on images of lighter-skinned individuals. It's almost guaranteed to struggle with accurately identifying people with darker skin tones, leading to discriminatory outcomes.
Yeah, we've seen examples of that.
Another common example is training a hiring AI on historical data from a company that predominantly hired men. The AI will simply learn and perpetuate that bias, not because it intends to, but because that's the pattern in its dataset. Next, we have data labeling. Even if the raw data is diverse, the process of human annotators labeling that training data can introduce bias.
Ah, the human element again.
Yep. Humans bring their own cultural, personal, or societal biases when they assign subjective labels, like categorizing sentiment as positive or negative, or interpreting facial expressions. These human biases, often implicit, directly influence what the AI learns to see and categorize. Then comes model training. This is where the algorithm itself is built and refined. If the training data is imbalanced, meaning certain groups are overrepresented or underrepresented, or if the model architecture isn't designed to specifically account for diverse inputs, the model may produce biased outputs.
So the design itself can be flawed.
Right. Algorithmic biases can also arise from the optimization techniques used, which might inadvertently favor predictions for majority groups while neglecting or misrepresenting minority groups. The system prioritizes what it sees most often, amplifying existing disparities. Finally, deployment. Even a seemingly unbiased model during its testing phase can reveal significant biases once it's deployed in real-world applications.
So it passes the test, but fails in the real world.
It can happen. If the system isn't continuously tested with a wide range of diverse inputs, or if it's not rigorously monitored for bias after deployment. What appears fair in a controlled environment might lead to unintended discrimination or exclusion when interacting with the complexities of real-world scenarios. Addressing this requires a continuous feedback loop, where AI models are regularly evaluated and updated based on how they perform in actual use.
Okay, so it sounds like there are different ways these flaws can manifest. Can you break down some of the common types of bias we should be aware of? Maybe give us a core insight for each.
Absolutely. Understanding these distinct types helps us pinpoint the problem and develop targeted solutions. These often reinforce existing societal inequalities. First, selection bias. This occurs when the training data isn't representative of the real-world population the AI is intended to serve. A classic example is that hiring algorithm trained on historical data that predominantly features male candidates. The core insight here is, your historical data reflects historical injustice. Don't let your AI perpetuate it implicitly. If the data itself is skewed, the AI will learn from that skewed reality.
Got it. Don't bake in the past's problems.
Exactly. Then we have confirmation bias. This is when an AI system becomes overly reliant on pre-existing patterns found in its data, essentially reinforcing historical prejudices. If the data it's trained on shows certain demographics consistently being denied loans, the AI will simply confirm and perpetuate that pattern, even if the underlying reasons for those denials were discriminatory. The key takeaway: AI confirms what is shown, not necessarily what is fair or true.
Okay, so it just follows the existing rut.
Pretty much. Measurement bias happens when the data collected systematically differs from the true variables of interest. For instance, if a model predicts student success based only on those who completed an online course, it's completely ignoring the population of students who dropped out. This leads to misleading conclusions because the data being measured isn't actually capturing the complete reality,
Right.
the insight. But what you measure isn't always what you intended to understand, leading to distorted realities. Stereotyping bias occurs when AI systems reinforce harmful stereotypes that exist in society. A translation model, for example, might consistently associate nurse with female pronouns and doctor with male pronouns, perpetuating gender roles.
We see that a lot.
Yeah. Similarly, an image generation model, if not carefully curated, might portray engineers as predominantly male, contributing to occupational stereotyping. The core takeaway: AI doesn't invent stereotypes, but it can make them ubiquitous and harder to challenge. Finally, and perhaps one of the most concerning, is outgroup homogeneity bias.
Hey, what's that?
This causes an AI system to generalize individuals from underrepresented groups, treating them as more similar than they actually are. For instance, facial recognition systems often struggle to accurately differentiate between individuals from racial or ethnic minorities due to insufficient diversity and representation in their training data. This can lead to serious consequences, like misclassification.
Like in law enforcement, as you mentioned.
Exactly. The insight: insufficient data for minority groups leads AI to treat them as homogeneous, erasing individuality with potentially devastating consequences.
That outgroup homogeneity bias sounds particularly concerning. The implications for justice and personal liberty are profound.
Indeed. It highlights how these biases move beyond mere inconvenience to having potentially life-altering effects, underscoring the urgency of addressing them.
It's important to understand that AI isn't necessarily inventing new biases, but rather reflecting what already exists in our society. Can you elaborate on the distinction between implicit and explicit biases and how AI mirrors these human traits?
It's absolutely crucial to understand the distinction between explicit and implicit biases, as AI systems often internalize and amplify these very human traits. Explicit bias refers to conscious and intentional prejudices or beliefs about certain groups. For example, an employer who openly states or acts on a preference for one gender over another in hiring, that's explicit bias. These are biases people are aware of.
Right, the conscious stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In contrast, implicit bias operates unconsciously. These are attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding, actions, and decisions without our conscious knowledge. Implicit biases are shaped over a lifetime by social conditioning, media, culture, personal experiences. They can be particularly harmful because they influence our behavior even when we consciously reject discriminatory beliefs or intend to be fair.
So we might think we're unbiased, but still act in biased ways.
Precisely. And the profound and challenging part is that AI systems can internalize these implicit biases from their training data in much the same way humans do from their environment. If a model learns from vast data sets containing biased language, stereotypical imagery, or historical inequalities, it can, unknowingly, generate prejudiced or stereotypical outputs. As one of our sources from Franklin Pierce School of Law put it, quote, "Because bias is a result of human nature, it can go unnoticed and influence the underpinnings of automated software. The AI simply learns patterns from the data it's fed." Another expert observation from the same source highlights this perfectly. Existing biases that were already present are now just being replicated.
So AI isn't inventing new forms of discrimination.
Often not, no. It's often acting as a high-speed, high-volume mirror, reflecting and then amplifying the biases that are already embedded deep within our human data and societal structures.
Let's move from theory to a concrete example. The idea of AI helping with hiring sounds incredibly efficient and fair, especially if it can remove human subjectivity. But it can go horribly wrong, as Amazon famously discovered.
The Amazon case study serves as a powerful cautionary tale, absolutely, about the unintended consequences of algorithmic bias in employment. In 2014, Amazon developed an AI program specifically to review job applications, aiming to find top talent more efficiently. However, by 2015, they quickly realized their tool was severely flawed. The system had been trained on a decade's worth of historical hiring data, and this data predominantly reflected male candidates, simply because men had historically made up a larger portion of their workforce in certain technical roles.
So the data itself was skewed from the start.
Right. The AI, in its pursuit of patterns, taught itself that male applicants were inherently preferable. It went so far as to penalize resumes that included the word women. For example, if an applicant listed captain of the women's soccer team on their CV, the algorithm would actually downgrade their application.
That's astonishing. So despite the developer's intentions, the AI was just replicating the historical biases it observed, effectively learning to discriminate.
Pretty much.
It sounds like even with the best intentions, AI will amplify existing biases, if not meticulously audited with fairness as a primary design goal.
Exactly. Our sources indicate that despite concerted efforts by Amazon's developers to combat this issue and retrain the system, they found it too difficult to prevent the AI from continually finding new ways to discriminate against female candidates. Because bias is a result of human nature, it can go unnoticed and influence the underpinnings of automated software. When employers assign hiring responsibilities to AI, they run the risk of replicating and potentially amplifying these human biases. Faced with these persistent challenges, Amazon ultimately abandoned the project altogether in 2017, ceasing the automated recruiting tool for good.
Wow.
This case truly underscores the insight. AI is only as good as the data it is given, and if that data reflects historical injustice, the AI will perpetuate it.
Beyond hiring, where the stakes are high but perhaps not life or death, AI is also deeply integrated into healthcare, making this area particularly sensitive to bias. The impacts could quite literally be life-altering.
This is indeed a critical area where algorithmic bias can have profoundly serious consequences. The Center for Applied Artificial Intelligence at Chicago Booth has done significant eye-opening work here, highlighting both the problems and potential solutions. Their research revealed a significant racial bias embedded in a widely deployed healthcare algorithm designed to select patients for managed care plans.
Okay.
The algorithm, by its inherent design or the data it was trained on, was systematically disadvantaging African American patients. Their findings were stark. If this bias were eliminated, the number of African American patients selected for these beneficial care plans would nearly double.
Double, that's huge.
It is. What's encouraging, however, is that Chicago Booth researchers collaborated directly with the developer of the algorithm and found solutions to dramatically reduce this bias, turning a flawed system into a more equitable tool.
That's a remarkable outcome. It's almost paradoxical, isn't it? AI can be a vessel for bias, but it can also be a powerful tool to fight bias if we design and implement it correctly and intentionally.
Absolutely. Another paper they published, this time in Nature Medicine, further demonstrated this dual potential. It showed how algorithms, with carefully selected training data based on patient reporting, could help physicians more equitably treat diverse populations who experience chronic pain differently. The algorithm was actually more accurate than typical clinical methodologies and was able to significantly reduce racial disparity at every level of pain measurement.
So it can be better than human methods sometimes, if done right.
Exactly. It illustrates that AI is not inherently good or bad. Its ethical alignment is largely dependent on human choices in its development. However, UN Women highlights the inverse and equally concerning reality. AI systems, if trained on skewed medical data, may inadvertently focus more on male symptoms, leading to misdiagnoses or inadequate treatment for women.
Oh, that's a major concern.
It is. This underscores how deeply AI bias can impact equitable access to critical care, leading to potentially devastating health disparities.
Let's shift gears a bit. Consider content creation. AI is generating paintings, music, novels, even entire newspapers now, blurring the lines of authorship. Who owns that stuff? And what about the darker side, like deepfakes, which seem to be everywhere and eroding trust?
The landscape of creative content is undergoing a revolution, definitely, but with it comes significant ethical and legal turbulence. Copyright laws, as they currently stand, face unprecedented stress tests. The central question, who owns an AI-generated work, remains largely unresolved in many jurisdictions.
A big legal gray area.
Huge. Under current laws in most countries, only human creators can hold copyrights. This fundamental gap leads to a host of problems. Legal disputes over AI-created intellectual property, unclear licensing models for AI-generated content, and considerable market uncertainty for businesses that are either creating or utilizing these AI-generated products. For industries like game development, music production, or marketing, this ambiguity can cause costly delays and rework, and it leaves artists in a precarious position regarding their creative output.
So while AI empowers incredible new forms of creation, it also muddies the legal waters of ownership, creating a complex challenge for artists, businesses, and legal systems alike.
Exactly. And then there are deepfakes. These hyper-realistic yet entirely fabricated AI-generated videos have rapidly transitioned from a technological novelty to a global threat.
They seem to be everywhere now.
They are. They are now being weaponized to damage reputations, dangerously influence elections, or commit sophisticated fraud. This is an immediate and severe erosion of public trust, making it incredibly difficult to discern truth from fabrication, especially in critical contexts like news or political discourse. The UN is now urging global standards to detect and control AI deepfakes, reflecting the severity of this issue.
So what mitigation efforts are being explored to combat this pervasive threat to truth and trust? Are we just stuck with it?
No, experts are actively focusing on several fronts. One key strategy is watermarking all AI-generated media for traceability, which would embed invisible markers indicating its artificial origin. Another is developing robust verification systems that can authenticate the source footage of a video or image, confirming its original unaltered state. We're also seeing a push for on-device AI detection tools designed to flag manipulated content in real time.
Like on those Copilot PCs you mentioned.
Potentially, yes. The latest AI Copilot PCs could soon ship with integrated deepfake detection capabilities, allowing users to instantly verify media authenticity without needing cloud processing, which boosts both speed and privacy. Microsoft's Content Credentials initiative is a prime example of this, using embedded metadata to clearly show when and how an image or video was generated, establishing a chain of provenance and helping to restore trust in digital media.
Okay, so there are technical solutions being worked on. What about other areas? Even in the hallowed halls of academia and scholarly publishing, AI bias is making waves and raising entirely new ethical dilemmas, particularly around trust and transparency.
Indeed. The Committee on Publication Ethics, or COPE, has been actively discussing emerging AI dilemmas in scholarly publishing, and their forum highlighted several key concerns that directly relate to bias and integrity. One major concern is the ethical use of AI by authors, editors, and reviewers. Researchers often use AI tools without realizing the ethical and legal implications of copying and pasting or uploading unpublished content into external AI platforms.
Oh, so just using ChatGPT on your unpublished paper could be a problem.
It absolutely could. This seemingly innocuous act can constitute a breach of intellectual property, confidentiality, or privacy, because the content they share could be ingested and possibly reused by these AI tools, potentially compromising novel research before it's even published.
That's a huge issue for proprietary research and confidential peer review, which relies entirely on trust.
Absolutely. Furthermore, there's the issue of AI-generated reviews themselves. When reviewers use AI assistants, the reports can contain crude inaccuracies, hallucinated references, or biases due to the training material of the AI tool and, frankly, a lack of critical thinking by the human user.
So the AI review might just be wrong or biased itself.
Right. And what's even more alarming is that some authors, aware of AI tools being used for reviews, have even started employing prompt injection tricks to bias the AI into generating positive review comments for their own manuscripts.
Wait, they're gaming the AI reviewer.
Yes, essentially trying to manipulate the system for personal gain. This fundamentally undermines the integrity of the peer review process. The insidious rise of these prompt injection tricks highlights a disturbing new front in AI ethics, not just unconscious bias, but deliberate manipulation. This isn't just about fixing algorithms, but policing human intent and maintaining intellectual honesty.
That's a whole new layer of ethical complexity, isn't it? It highlights how AI can challenge the very foundations of research integrity and trust, which are cornerstones of scientific advancement. The need for transparency and clear guidelines here seems paramount.
Precisely. As Cope emphasizes, AI transparency is not about shame, it's about intellectual honesty, meaning a clear disclosure of AI use is crucial to foster trust and strengthen our understanding of fair and responsible AI application in scholarly work.
It's clear that existing laws designed for a pre-AI world simply can't keep up with the explosion of AI-generated content and the pervasive nature of algorithmic bias. So what are policymakers and governments doing to close this widening gap? What's driving this global push for regulation?
Well, there's definitely a global race underway to develop new frameworks and adapt existing legal structures. It's happening quite fast now. Key areas under intense debate and development include establishing clear intellectual property rights for AI-generated works, which, as we discussed, are currently a legal gray area.
Right, the ownership question.
Exactly. Then there's formulating robust data privacy rules, specifically tailored for the massive and often sensitive data sets used to train AI models. And finally, imposing critical transparency requirements for AI systems operating in both public and commercial uses, ensuring we understand how these powerful tools make decisions. Organizations like the OECD AI Policy Observatory are vehemently emphasizing the urgent need for uniform global regulations. Because without international alignment, companies face a patchwork of compliance rules across different countries. This not only leads to disputes, but can also significantly slow down innovation as businesses grapple with diverse and often conflicting legal requirements. The driving force is the recognition that without trust and clear rules, the full potential of AI cannot be realized safely or equitably.
So a unified global approach is really the ideal. Are there any concrete examples of such regulatory efforts already taking shape? Things we can look at.
Absolutely. The European Union's AI Act stands out as a landmark example of a comprehensive regulatory framework. It's set for full implementation in 2025, so very soon. This act takes a risk-based approach, categorizing AI systems by their potential harm level from minimal to high risk.
Okay, so different rules for different AI uses.
Correct. For high-risk AI systems, such as those used in critical infrastructure, law enforcement, or employment, it imposes strict documentation requirements, mandatory conformity assessments, and robust transparency obligations. This legislation is a significant step towards ensuring accountability and ethical deployment of AI within the EU, and it's likely to set a precedent for other nations considering similar regulatory measures. Its ambition is to protect fundamental rights while fostering innovation within a clear legal framework.
But regulating AI also runs into significant legal roadblocks, doesn't it? Especially when companies claim trade secrets over their proprietary algorithms or the vast data sets they use. How do we balance the need for transparency and public safety with protecting legitimate business interests? That seems like a tough one.
It is a tough one. This raises an important question, and it's a tension at the heart of much of the regulatory debate. Some legal experts argue that reforming intellectual property laws to allow public scrutiny of AI training data is a big ask, potentially undermining the very innovation we seek to protect. It's a complex legal and economic challenge.
So opening the kimono might kill the golden goose, so to speak.
That's the concern, yes. A more pragmatic approach, suggested by scholars at Franklin Pierce School of Law and other legal experts, is to place legal duties of care on software developers. These duties would ensure that the outcomes generated by their algorithms remain within a certain acceptable range of discriminatory impact. This approach draws inspiration from tort law principles.
Like product liability, almost.
Sort of.
Hmm.
Developers would have a legal obligation to foresee and prevent unreasonable risks, even if they're not explicitly intending to build discriminatory algorithms. As one expert succinctly put it, I think most people aren't setting out to build discriminatory algorithms, but they are setting out to build biased algorithms, very clearly stated biased algorithms, and those have discriminatory impacts.
Interesting distinction.
Right. The focus shifts from intent to impact, holding developers accountable for the societal consequences of their creations.
While federal and international efforts are underway, it seems some of the most exciting and agile developments in AI regulation are happening closer to home, at the state and local levels. What kind of innovations are we seeing there?
Absolutely. We are seeing some really exciting things unfolding at the state and local levels that are pushing the boundaries of AI regulation. They can often move faster. California, for instance, has been particularly proactive, passing a slew of AI-related laws. One significant piece of legislation, set to be enacted in 2026, will demand transparency about how algorithms are created and deployed, shining a light on previously opaque processes.
So more visibility into the black box.
That's the goal. Colorado has also introduced its own AI Act, which focuses specifically on the crucial area of training data, aiming to ensure fairness and prevent bias at the source. New York City's Local Law 144 serves as another model, specifically targeting automated employment decision tools to prevent discrimination in hiring and promotion. These initiatives are vital because they serve as laboratories for innovative regulatory approaches, driving forward transparency, accountability, and fairness in specific high-impact areas. They provide valuable insights for broader federal and international efforts.
Like little test beds for regulation.
Exactly. They demonstrate that tangible progress can be made, even in the absence of comprehensive federal legislation.
So with all this regulation and the urgent need to address bias, how do we make sure we don't stifle the very innovation that promises so much while still protecting users from unintended harm? It's a delicate balance, isn't it?
It truly is a delicate balance, and responsible AI development hinges on embracing four key interconnected principles. These principles aim to create a framework where innovation can flourish within ethical guardrails. The first is transparency. This means a clear and unequivocal disclosure when AI is involved in content creation or decision-making. Users need to know when they are interacting with an AI system.
Know what you're dealing with.
Right. This fosters trust and informed engagement. Second is user control. Individuals should be empowered to customize AI behavior and manage how their data is used by these systems. This puts the user back in the driver's seat.
More agency for the user.
The third principle is bias prevention. This involves actively and continuously testing and refining AI models to proactively avoid discrimination. It's not enough to hope for the best. Developers must rigorously audit their models for bias at every stage.
Constant vigilance.
Basically, yes. Implementing fairness metrics and adversarial testing to root out prejudice before it can cause harm. Finally, ethics oversight. This calls for actively consulting multidisciplinary ethics boards before launching AI systems into the public sphere. These boards, composed of experts from technology, philosophy, sociology, law, and other fields, can provide diverse perspectives to identify potential harms and ensure alignment with societal values.
Get different eyes on it.
Exactly. As our sources emphasize, by following these principles, businesses can continue innovating while protecting users from unintended harm. It's about building trust into the very fabric of AI, rather than trying to bolt it on as an afterthought.
Given how complex and pervasive AI bias is, entering the system at so many different stages, what are the concrete steps we can take? As developers, businesses, even as consumers, what can we do to address it effectively?
Well, addressing bias requires a continuous feedback loop and a multifaceted approach. It spans technical solutions, organizational policies, and regulatory frameworks. It's not a one-time fix, but an ongoing commitment. One of the most foundational strategies is ensuring diverse and representative data. This is paramount.
Back to the data again.
Always back to the data. Our sources consistently highlight that ensuring training data sets are inclusive and accurately reflect all genders, races, ethnicities, and communities that the AI will impact is absolutely essential. This means actively selecting data to remove historical biases and proactively seeking out underrepresented data points rather than simply using whatever is readily available. Remember, if your data is biased, your AI will be too.
Garbage in, garbage out, amplified.
Precisely. Next, we need human-in-the-loop systems. This involved incorporating human oversight at critical points in the AI decision-making process. AI should augment, not replace, human judgment, especially where decisions have serious ethical or legal implications. As one source puts it, human intervention and transparency is key.
Keep people involved.
Yes. Humans can catch biases that algorithms miss, provide context, and make adjustments based on real-world nuances that algorithms simply can't discern. Another crucial strategy involves employing sophisticated bias detection tools and continuous monitoring. This means actively using fairness metrics, adversarial testing, where you deliberately try to make the AI fail in a biased way, and explainable AI techniques.
Try to break it, basically.
In a controlled way, yes, to find weaknesses. AI systems must be regularly audited after deployment to detect any emerging biases that might appear in real-world interactions, and then refined to improve fairness. These modern AI detection tools are evolving, incorporating machine learning classifiers, word signature lists, and humanness metrics. But it's vital to remember that no single tool is foolproof. They should be used as hints, not definitive verdicts. Then there's transparency and disclosure. Beyond technical solutions, there's a strong call for intellectual honesty. Authors, reviewers, editors, publishers using AI tools should disclose it openly. To make this more structured, a new initiative called the Generative AI Delegation Taxonomy, or GAIDET, offers a structured way to describe what exactly was delegated to AI and under whose oversight. Yeah, it moves beyond generic statements to provide clear, actionable information. This fosters trust and accountability, particularly important in areas like scholarly publishing. For businesses, establishing internal content ownership policies now is crucial. Clarifying who owns AI-generated content user, developer, organization can prevent future litigation, especially with copyright laws still catching up.
Get the internal rules straight first.
Exactly. It's also important to proactively implement ethics oversight and multidisciplinary boards, actively consulting with diverse ethics boards before launching AI systems. These boards provide critical perspectives and help identify potential harms. Finally, and often overlooked, is fostering diverse development teams. AI systems should be created by diverse development teams, composed of people from different genders, races, and cultural backgrounds.
Makes sense. Different perspectives spot different problems.
Absolutely. This helps bring different perspectives into the development process and significantly reduces blind spots that can inadvertently lead to biased AI systems by challenging assumptions early on.
That sounds like a comprehensive approach, touching on every part of the AI development and deployment lifecycle. It highlights that a strong AI governance framework is absolutely essential to tie all these mitigation strategies together, ensuring transparency, accountability, and fairness across the board.
Exactly. Without a robust governance framework, these individual strategies can operate in silos. A holistic AI governance platform ensures comprehensive oversight, from identifying AI assets across the enterprise to stress testing systems and aligning with regulatory requirements. It's about proactive risk management and continuous assurance rather than reactive damage control.
We've talked a lot about AI perpetuating bias, and for good reason, but can AI actually help us identify and reduce bias? Can it be a force for good in this struggle?
Absolutely. This is a crucial distinction. While AI systems can reflect and amplify existing biases, they also hold significant potential for actively identifying and addressing gender inequalities and other forms of bias. They can serve as a powerful force for good. UN Women highlights several compelling examples of this transformative capacity.
Like what?
For instance, AI has already proven instrumental in analyzing vast datasets to pinpoint gender pay gaps in the workforce. Tools like Glassdoor have leveraged AI to reveal stark differences in salaries based on gender, providing concrete data-driven evidence.
Making the invisible visible.
Precisely. That evidence can drive policy changes and corporate accountability. In the finance sector, AI is helping to overcome long-standing gender biases in credit scoring. Companies like Zest AI use machine learning to make fairer credit assessments, expanding access to loans for individuals historically disadvantaged.
Opening doors that were closed.
Yes. AI is also improving access to microfinance services for women entrepreneurs, particularly in underserved areas, helping to unlock economic opportunities. Beyond finance, AI is being used to uncover biases in educational textbooks, helping educators revise learning materials to be more inclusive. It's tracking gender representation and leadership roles across industries. AI can even assist in analyzing and drafting gender-sensitive laws by identifying patterns of gender discrimination in existing legislation and proposing reforms, essentially helping governments assess the potential gender impacts of proposed laws before they are enacted.
That's incredibly impactful, moving beyond mere detection to active change and prevention.
And it extends to critical areas like women's safety. While technology can facilitate violence, AI is offering innovative solutions. Mobile apps like BeSafe provide safety alerts and real-time protection. Chatbots such as Sophia by Spring ACT and Rainbow by AI for Good offer anonymous support and connect survivors with legal services and vital resources.
Using AI for support and safety.
Right. Crucially, AI-powered algorithms are also being deployed to make the digital space safer by detecting and removing harmful, discriminatory content and stopping the spread of non-consensual intimate images, which is a growing concern. So, when deployed thoughtfully, AI can be a powerful ally in the fight for equity and safety.
That's a powerful reminder that AI is fundamentally a tool, and its ultimate impact largely depends on how we wield it, the intentions we embed into its development, and the ethical guardrails we put in place. It really does come down to human responsibility.
Precisely. It's about leveraging AI's analytical power not just for efficiency, but for equity, justice, and the betterment of society.
So for you, our listener, whether you're working directly with AI, managing teams using it, or simply living in our increasingly AI-infused world, which is increasingly all of us, what actionable steps should we be taking to prepare for AI Ethics 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, for professionals, the next year will undoubtedly bring new compliance expectations and, importantly, new career opportunities in the burgeoning field of AI ethics and governance. To stay ahead and be part of shaping a responsible AI future, here are some actionable steps. First, stay informed. Continuously follow global policy updates, like the EU AI Act implementation, and keep up with the latest AI news. The regulatory landscape is moving fast.
Keep learning.
Definitely. Second, upskill. Pursue certifications in AI ethics, governance, security, and data privacy. There's a growing demand for professionals who can navigate these complex ethical and legal territories. These skills will become increasingly valuable. Third, audit your AI tools. If you or your organization are using AI, regularly check your models for bias, accuracy, and compliance with emerging regulations. This isn't a one-off task, but a continuous process.
Ongoing vigilance.
Right. And finally, engage in public dialogue. Participate in industry events, forums, and policy discussions to contribute to shaping ethical standards and best practices. Your voice and perspective matter in this collective effort.
This isn't just about avoiding risk, then. It's about actively shaping the future of a trustworthy AI ecosystem, ensuring that this powerful technology genuinely serves humanity responsibly and equitably. It's about being proactive, not reactive, in building the world we want to live in. #outro. Wow, what an incredible deep dive into the urgent realities of AI ethics in 2025. We've seen how AI's rapid ascent brings both extraordinary benefits and really pressing challenges, particularly around the pervasive issue of algorithmic bias.
Indeed. We've unpacked how bias creeps in at every stage of the AI pipeline, from flawed data collection and labeling to model training and deployment. We've examined its profound and often life-altering impacts in critical areas like employment. The Amazon case study really drives that home healthcare with the impactful Chicago Booth research, and even within creative industries, highlighting the complexities of copyright and the global threat of deepfakes. And the realities of prompt injection and scholarly publishing truly bring home the breadth of these challenges, revealing that even human intent can become a source of ethical dilemma within AI systems.
Yeah, that was eye-opening. And it's clear that governments and organizations worldwide are scrambling to put regulations and ethical frameworks in place, like the EU AI Act, which is set for full implementation this year, and those innovative state-level initiatives we discussed in California, Colorado, and New York City. But it's not just about rules and laws. It's about a multifaceted approach involving actively seeking diverse and representative data, incorporating human oversight through human-in-the-loop systems, deploying smart bias detection tools and continuous monitoring, and embracing radical transparency through clear disclosure, like that JDET initiative.
Ultimately, the road ahead for AI Ethics 2025 is defined by three key elements, particularly as we step into an agentic AI world. a future where AI systems are capable of independent goal setting and execution, acting on their own initiative.
Agentic AI, that's a whole other level.
It is. And the key elements are trust in transparent, explainable, and consistent AI systems, collaboration between humans and AI agents, where humans remain at the center of decision-making, guiding and validating AI as a true thought partner, and robust governance with clear policies, oversight, and boundaries. We must ensure that AI systems do what they're designed to do, and nothing beyond, actively addressing known biases and unintended consequences.
So for you, our listener, here's a provocative thought to mull over. If AI systems are increasingly going to operate with greater autonomy and initiative, truly embodying that agentic AI world, how will we as a society truly ensure that our collective commitment to integrity, transparency, and inclusivity evolves fast enough to keep pace with the machines we create? What steps will you take to demand and foster that responsible future, ensuring that the ethical groundwork we lay today continues to hold strong tomorrow, even as AI gains more independence?